Hey, Tony Gas is here. Now I want to talk to you about something that I had to learn and I'm still learning in different ways. But this is so important and I really want more men to see this. But so if you happen to be a man, make sure you watch the whole thing. And if you happen to be a woman, share it with a man that you know that won't be offended by you sharing it with him. And if he will be offended, decide if you care or not. Like if it's something that's gonna ruin your relationship because it's your husband or boyfriend, then don't share it. You maybe could just listen to it and let him overhear it or something. Or I don't know, it might pop up on his feed if you been watching the video from his account or something. But it's something that's real powerful. And I was gonna say men need marriage. And as soon as I said that, I heard a bunch of women say in my head, no, men need faithful marriage, healthy marriage, because anybody could get married, but it don't do you no good to be married if you're not being faithful or if you're treating your wife like crap. And so I've been through everything you could go through in a relationship. And one of the things I've learned is that as a man, we need the stability that a woman brings. It does not mean that you should rush it, but it means that you should get ready for it. And if you're a believer, you should be praying for it, that it comes in due season and that God prepares you for when it comes. But you should be actively seeking unless you know you are called to a season of singleness for whatever reason. You should be looking for your wife because God said man is not complete. So he created woman. And unless you have a calling and a mission from God that you are to complete before being with that woman, then you need to find said woman, especially if you are weak in your spirit and meaning you've fallen into sin. Because as you know, the good book says better to marry than to burn. Now, at the same time, you can get married, but if you do not take care of that covenant, if you are not treating that woman the way God would have you treat her, then you're going to lose that woman and you're also going to lose your favor from God. Does not mean he will turn his back on you completely and forget you, but meaning you activate your favor when you are faithful. And it's more to being faithful than just not sleeping with other women. Also being faithful by your eyes, being faithful by your conversation, but also being faithful with your words with your wife. Now, one of the things we struggle with as men, and this myself included, is how we talk to our woman, not talking down to her and being condescending, not being jealous and controlling, not being verbally abusive, disrespectful, too harsh, too blunt. And as men, we raise like that and we talk to like that. So when we get somebody that's close to us, like our woman, it's really easy for us to control her and not even process we controlling her. To be insecure and jealous and not even process we being those things. And then sometimes we process it and then we still excuse ourselves and say, oh, well, I'm just being a man. I'm just being me. And you can't trust humans. So I got to police her and I got to govern her because you can't trust her because she is the weaker vessel and she could be deceived and Eve was deceived so she could be deceived, and so that way I gotta be smothering and I gotta be her blanket, her father, her controller, her dictator. And you might not call it those things, but that's what you're doing. But it's something I realize, and it's extremely, extremely hard to articulate. But what I realize is that when I go into a space, the space that God has called me to be in with my wife as a man, When I go into that space, I find peace. Even in the midst of the struggle and the storm, I find peace. I also find clarity, and I also receive favor. And the reason why I believe that is because when you go into that space of self-control and discipline, in that space, you unlock another level. You unlock another part of your brain. That when you can control yourself and you can train your brain and you can be emotionally intelligent, where you want to say something and you want to do something, but you make the right choice. Now you're channeling a level of focus and a level of strength and a level of clarity that when you take those same attributes into business, you see more. You become more creative. You become more innovative. You get to a place to where you can filter out the noise and you can filter through the junk because you are in a place that you can hear. And it's because of that self-control. So you got to realize when you give into pornography, when you give into emotional cheating, or you give into physical cheating, or you give into insecurity, control, domineering, or abuse of any kind, when you give into those things, it's like dumping trash on your plate of food. It's like dumping trash in your house, in your car. You filling yourself up, you filling your life up with junk, and you sending out negativity. And when you send out negativity gonna come back to you. And so if God made you the head, and if his word tells you that the woman is a weaker vessel, then doesn't it sound like you're supposed to protect? You're supposed to provide. And when I say provide, I don't just mean financially, but providing emotionally in the sense of how are you talking to her and what are you bringing to the table in that aspect of life. And I think a lot of times we don't think about that and we don't realize that. And what I have found is when I go into that space, it liberates my woman. And what I mean by that is if I'm in a space of insecurity or control, my wife don't want to be around me, don't want to talk to me, don't want to call me if she out, if I'm not in an emotionally intelligent space. Now I got a lot to pull from because I've been married going on 16 years now. 15 years and a few months, So not closer to 15 than 16, but still. So I got a lot to pull from. And it was real rough in the first 2 to 3 years. Really the first 2 years and really kind of the first 3 years was getting a little better. And then it got really, really good. But then you go through tests and you go through just all the different egos and everything, button heads. And we in a great space now and growing and building, but still being tested. So it's going to be other men that pop up from her past and she got to confront that. She got to deal with that. It's going to be other women that pop up in my business, in my life. Not really women from my past. It's a little different, I guess, because ironically, women kind of, contrary to popular belief, women respect territory more than some men do. And so it might be a guy who knew my wife from college shoot her a message, whereas I don't get any messages from women from college. I mean, I probably got 1 or 2 over the whole 15 years, and it's not like my wife getting them all the time either, but you still gonna be confronted with little stuff that you got to, confront and deal with and have your boundaries set in place. But being in a good place in marriage, what I notice is it's like I was shooting a video and my wife called me And I'm in here in the office working. She didn't know it. She in another part of the house. And she called me to show me something so small, which was a dog on TV and the dog behavior. But that's a sign that a woman is in love, that a woman is at peace with her man. That's a sign. When she with her son and she could just enjoy that moment with her son, but she called her husband in to see that moment too. That's a sign that she in a good place. That when she on the road and she out running errands, she called me. Or she FaceTime and she FaceTime me on accident, but then went to talking and talking and talking. And when I'm out, she called me and she want to talk to me. So it's saying, I want connection. I want to talk to you. I want to be around you when you're in a good space. When you're in a bad space, the woman going to want as much distance, as much separation as possible. And you might be wondering, well, why she ain't checking on me? Why she ain't chase me? Because she really like good riddance. You a headache. All you do is complain. All you do is judge me. Nothing I do is good enough. And I done been that guy. I have been that guy. And not just with my wife. I done been that guy for other family, with other people in my circle. And I have to learn and grow. And so I want men to understand that I'm not saying rush marriage. I'm not saying that. I'm saying prepare for it. But don't just prepare to get on one knee and propose. Don't just prepare for the wedding. Prepare to be a faithful and emotionally intelligent husband. Prepare to fight your internal battles, your spiritual battles. Prepare to suffer the wrong. Prepare to be the bigger person. So what I mean by that is prepare to be a gentle warrior, to where you war against the spirits and principalities in that realm in the world, but you do not war against your wife spiritually, emotionally, physically, financially, socially, in any area. And this is really, really hard because men, I feel like we are territorial by nature, and being territorial also lends to being controlling. So if you notice, from the beginning of time, men have been territorial. You're stepping on my turf, let's fight, winner takes all. That's what we're still doing today. Our country is in other countries trying to take certain things. And that's men. It's men at the presidency, it's men hitting the buttons, it's men calling the wars. And so we can take that same thing into our relationship. And the worst thing that we can do is war against ourselves. That's what the Bible talks about it in Ephesians, like love this woman as you love your own body. And you'll see so many men that will buffet their body. They will work out, eat clean, got abs, got chest, got arms, or eat good, meaning eating Popeyes, eating steaks, eating shrimp, eating everything and putting on all kind of weight. But in their mind, they loving their body because they eating good. And then other men loving their body because they eating clean. But that's why I talk about love your woman like you love your body. Because what man gonna hate himself? What man gonna harm himself? What man gonna do bad to himself? Now, yeah, we see that happen, but that's a thought. And it helped me realize, like, let me be gentle with my wife. And I read a quote that a guy wrote, and it said, a man's strength is in his gentleness. And I was like, wow. Because we think it's in our bravado. We think it's in our toughness. We think it's in our ego. We think it's in talking tough and acting tough. But when you could be gentle, that's when you truly a warrior. It's like what we seen with like Bruce Lee and how he say, be water, my friend. And we seen Bruce Lee and we see his depiction of him, and we see how he try to de-escalate situations. And he try to walk away from situations because he know in just a couple licks, he can take you out. So he don't really want to put hands on you because he knows his capabilities. And that's any real man of strength. And that's any real man. When we become a real man, we know that our words can destroy our wife or it can build her up. We know our words can destroy our children or it could build them up. We know our words can destroy our coworkers or our employees or our friends and family, mother, father, sister, brother, best friend, cousin. We know our words can destroy, can break down, or can build up when you come into the knowledge of who you are. So it's on us to be emotionally intelligent, to be loving, to be kind, to be compassionate, and seek your wife. A man who finds a wife finds a good thing and receives favor from the Lord. I have experienced that. Would I have become who I am today without my wife? Absolutely not. Now, a lot of men will believe that, yes, they would have become the same thing and they would have done the same thing. It's not true. Because when you're sleeping around and you're watching pornography and you're masturbating and you're getting into all this different stuff and you're following all these women, chasing all these women, talking to all these women, befriending and flirting with all these women, you're doing all of this, it's all a distraction. So when you got that in your life, you can't be 100% focused on your purpose and your calling because you juggling so many women, whether it's on a computer screen or whether it's in real life. But when you get one woman, all you have to do is give her her time. That might be 30 minutes a day. It might be an hour a day. It might be 2 hours, 3 hours, depending on y'all lifestyle, y'all jobs. And then outside of that woman, you get to give 100% to your purpose. And of course, if you have kids, your kids get their time, your woman get her time. But outside of that, you are 100% dedicated to your purpose. And that is how I have created over 50 streams of income, meaning over 50 asset producing or income producing assets between books and courses and businesses, products in the tech world, in the real world, from the real estate we doing and from the tech projects, the book projects, the media projects, the online course projects, the one-on-one, in-person, the virtual, the live, all of these different properties, different streams of income has come from an intense focus because I'm not juggling 2, 3, 4, 5 women. I'm not having to sit and talk to a woman emotionally and build with her emotionally and emotionally cheating or emotionally catering to her. I got one woman to cater to focus on, and outside of her and my children, I can give everything to my God-given gifts and my purpose. So when you look and you see a successful YouTube channel, a large following on Facebook, a large following on Twitter, a large following on Instagram, and you see my mentor.life, and you see Tony Gaskins Academy, and you see Gaskins University, and you see Character University, and you see TonyGaskinsStore.com, and you see 17, 18, 20 books on Amazon, and you see 25, 30 courses on the Academy. When you see these things, when you see the subscription, the group on Facebook, the group on Instagram, YouTube, on Instagram and Patreon, when you see my hand in all these different things, it's because I have an intense focus to create multiple businesses and multiple avenues to reach people. Right now, we building an app and gonna launch that. I just finished. I got the formula for a skincare line that I may not launch. If you want to buy it, send me $5,000-$10,000. I'll sell it to you. And working on the real estate company with my partners and all these different things. Talking to my other partner today about a little community center. All these different things going because I can focus on those things because I got one woman to take care of. I got one woman to take care of. And so what I have to focus on with her is let me get better every day with my attitude, with my personality, with how I talk to her. And it's a struggle because I go through spiritual warfare. I go through tough times. I go through the burden of every day carrying and helping friends and family financially. and feeling unrightfully privileged, being the one who makes 6 figures, 7 figures, being the one that people will call on when they need money, when they need bills paid. That's a heavy crown to wear. And so that could put me in a space to where I might not feel like talking to my wife. I might not feel like being intimate. I might not feel like being kind and cordial. So every day I have to be praying and renewing my mind. But if I do that and I'm in the right space with her, then outside of that, I'm able to build and do what God put me here to do. And so I want every man who sees this to understand the power in this focus and this discipline, and understand that when you get focused in the discipline in the area of your sex life, meaning abstinence or faithfulness to your woman in mind, body, and spirit, cutting out the emotional wives, the physical side wives, the work wife, the Instagram wife, the Facebook wife, the computer screen wife, the phone screen wife. Cut out all of that. Commit to one woman, or commit to no women if you single. Commit to no masturbation, no pornography. Commit to the grind. I posted a quote that says something about the grind. I can't remember, but it say, and the grind pays dividends. Now I said, you will get out what you put in, and the grind pays dividends. When you commit to it, you're going to see your life go up. But if you get comfortable in that sin, eventually you're going to get exposed. Eventually it's going to cost you everything. Hey, this is Tony Gasson. God bless you. We'll talk soon.